Greetings, everyone. It is Isaac Wells, the voice of Internet's Skeletor. You're watching Dragonfire Entertainment. And remember, listening to a podcast before bedtime is the adult version of story time. Until we meet again.
What's your poison? Let's drink it tonight. In the glow of the stars, everything feels right. Raise your glasses, let the good vibes pour. Together we'll sing, who could ask for more?
How's it going, everybody? Wildman Wes here, and welcome to another edition of What's Your Poison? It's been a while since I've done a variety pack, and I was looking through some of my vaulted stash, and I forgot. I have a variety pack from Destihl Brewing in Normal, Illinois. I miss going down to Central Illinois, especially down to Bloomington Normal, because my brother and his family live down there, and I figure this episode is somewhat for him. This specific variety pack is from the Deadhead series, and we're going to go down one by one, and we're going to talk about them. So let's begin. Starting off our variety pack from Destihl, we have the Deadhead Easy Haze. This is a 5% ABV IPA, and the description says it's an easy drinking, hazy IPA with smooth melody of bright citrus, tropical, and pine notes from Citra, Summit, Simcoe, and Cascade hops to provide fresh, juicy flavor and a refreshing way to take it easy. Okay, I dig that, because there are some hazy IPAs that, especially when it comes to a higher ABV, the hops and the flavor profile notes are not necessarily going to mesh well. And looking at this color right now, it's not as hazy as I was thinking it was going to be. However, it is slightly cloudy underneath the head consistency, and I'm not disappointed on that. Normally for me, when I see a hazy IPA, I think more of a golden amber color to the color. And with this being more of a golden yellow, okay, I'm not, too upset about that. The only difference is how it's going to taste. When I saw the notes of tropical pine and with the Simcoe and Cascade and Citra hops, I'm going to think not just hazy, but very citrusy, somewhat dank, and earthy. Let's take a smell. Getting a lot of citrus on there, some tropical, and there is that hint of pine that gives it that earthiness. Now we're going to take a sip, and we'll figure out what we think about it. More earthy on the flavor profile. I'm not getting as much of the tropical notes from the mouthfeel as much as I am getting it on the scent. And I'm a little perplexed on that one because I was really expecting to get some more notes of the tropical and a fruit. And I'm getting more earth than the fruit. And then again, this is supposedly a easy haze, so the flavor profile may not be as prevalent, and I can understand that. However, when it comes to the grade for this, it's not a horrible hazy IPA. I just feel a little bit lied to. But that being said, the grade for this will go with 3.25 out of 5 pows, because, as I mentioned, not a horrible beer. It's just when you read a description and it is completely different than what you thought and not for the best reasons, that can really knock a grade down. And for that, this one's going to get a lower grade than I was hoping for. However, I will finish off the rest of this glass, and we are going to move on to our next beer. Up next in our lineup, we have Deadhead IPA West Coast Style. This is 7% ABV, with the description saying, like the bold colors and patterns of a tie-dye shirt, this West Coast Style IPA is bursting with psychedelic hoppiness, fruity aromas, and balanced bitterness from Citra, Simcoe, and Chinook hops with a vintage malt backdrop. Now, when it comes to West Coast styles, I am very much a fan. I do like some of my other ones from East Coast style, as well as New England style, and very hoppy and earthy. However, my flavor profile, taste buds tell me I need a little bit more of that hazy dank with the fruitiness. And with the description of this one, it sounds similar to the Easy Haze. That might be considered a red flag. However, when it does say West Coast style, usually they're not joking. So that being said, let's give this a pour. So as you can see from the pour right now, this is the color that I'm thinking of when I see a little bit more of a hazy IPA. It has a darker tint of golden. Then again, with the Easy Haze, the color is probably going to be a little bit lighter anyways, and with the West Coast, this is closer to what I am used to. So we're going to take a smell and see what notes we get. There is that maltiness. It smells a little heavier, which is a good thing. Getting both a little bit of that dankness and that earthiness. All right, here we go. Yep, there's that bitterness. They weren't lying about the fruity aromas. I'm not really getting a lot of fruit notes on the mouthfeel, but I am getting that maltiness and the dankness. So that being said, this one definitely gives a better redemption from the Easy Haze. It's not the greatest West Coast style I've had, but it is a very, very, very good style, and a very good style that Destihl put out. That being said, I'm going to take one more sip, and then I'll grade it for real. This one, I would probably say 3 3/4. It is very decent, not the greatest I've had in the past, but it is still good. And I will recommend it to anybody that is not necessarily a fan of IPAs, but wants something slightly lighter in ABV. Then again, 7% is usually the average, but when a West Coast style IPA, usually for me, the ones that I've had range from about 8.1 to 9.2. I know, that sounds really, really crazy, but it's the truth. Now that I've got this glass about half full, I'm going to finish this as quick as I can, and we're going to move on to the next beer. Chugging right along, no pun intended, in this variety pack, we have Tour Bus Double Dry Hopped Hazy IPA. This is a 7.4% ABV, and I've had this before. It's been a very long time, so it'll be great to relive this, because there's a little story regarding this. This did win the gold at the 2021 Great American Beer Festival, and for me, double dry hopped IPAs, it's a hit or a miss. There are some that I've had that are so good because they get the notes right. And then there are some where they just become complete palate wreckers. From what I remember from Tour Bus, this one actually had a fairly decent balance. I'm going to read off the description a little bit just to give you an idea. It says, our Deadhead IPA series melds an alluring vibe of our favorite music with unbounded takes on the hoppy beers we love to drink, unleashing a whole new groove. Our Tour Bus IPA features 2-row malt, I dig that, flaked oats and wheat with Citra and Mosaic hops, providing dynamic notes of tropical, citrus, fruits, and berries. Now it's time to talk about that description that I just read off. This sounds so good on print. However, there have been other double dry hopped IPAs that I've had that say similar things. And I've had them, and much like a lot of beers we've had in the past, good on print, but completely delusional. This one, from what I remember, is good. And enough stalling, we're going to open this up, and we're going to have a taste. And looking at the color on this one, it looks hazy. The head consistency is very frothy, which makes me very, very happy in this situation. Now, I know when it comes to head consistency, there have been some episodes in the past where I've gotten a little bit wishy-washy when it comes to the head dissipating, or it being too much where you have to wait and let it dissipate so you don't have the big head mustache. Sorry folks, I just realized that sounded really, really bad. YouTube, please don't get me for that. Definitely getting that 2-row malt right away off the nose. There is almost a hint of apricot or peach on the drive-by. I'm going to try sniffing again. Not getting a lot of... Oh, wait. There's almost like a raspberry in there, slightly. It seems very sweet yet acidic. Now, when it comes to the hops, the Citra and Mosaic, more earthy on the 3-sniff, more fruity and dank on the drive-by. So here we go. That's what I'm talking about. That is well balanced. I'm getting the malt, I'm getting the hoppiness of both the dank and fruity and earthy. This is why I'm glad I remembered to pick something like this up. And that being said, I have to say this, it's definitely close to being a perfect beer. However, in the interest of fairness, I'm going to say 4 3/4 because it does linger a little bit where you don't really get the flavor profiles. It creeps up on you, and sometimes I like to have those flavor profiles right away. I'm an impatient person, if you haven't noticed. But apart from my impatientness, I need to drink this beer very quickly, even though I do enjoy it, because we do have one last beer for today. Closing out our lineup today, we have the Deadhead Imperial West Coast Style IPA. This is 9% in ABV, and I love the description on this one because it really makes me excited. It says, this brew pours a clear straw color and boasts an aromatic blend of tangerine, grapefruit, and a hint of passion fruit from Citra and Mosaic hops. Rounded out by the piney note from Chinook, it's full-bodied with a crisp, dank, and pithy finish that won't overwhelm your palate. This goes back to the conversation we had on one of the other beers in this lineup. There are IPAs that can either hit all the notes and flavor profiles or wreck your palate. This one literally says it's not going to wreck your palate. I actually haven't had this one yet, so I will be the judge of this one. You better not disappoint. Let's open this up and see what we see, shall we? With the color, when they said light straw, close. Still slightly dark. Wait, no, it got a little bit lighter. So, okay, they're right on that one. I'm getting malt on this one. The tangerine, getting a little sweetness on that. Grapefruit, it's not as prevalent as I was thinking. Passion fruit, okay, it's close, but I am getting that piney note from the Chinook, so let's see what the flavor profile is with the dankness and everything else they boasted. Here we go. Full-bodied. The fruit notes, back and forth. I'm getting a lot more of the grapefruit for sure. Tangerine is definitely at the first part of the mouthfeel. Hang on a second. I gotta have another sip. I'm getting something. Passion fruit right at the end. They weren't lying on this one, so that is definitely a great thing. This is not necessarily overwhelming my palate. It is drying it up a little bit. And as I've said before in the past, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It is drying my palate up a little bit, but at the same time my mouth is watering a little bit. And you know what that means? If your palate starts getting dry and your mouth starts to water, you need another drink. And I'm gonna have another drink because this is a damn good IPA. When it comes to the grade on this one, this is a tough one. Oh my kidding. They weren't lying on this one. Like, at all. Literally, everything they said is true. Some things don't necessarily add up right away, but at the same time, it is a complete, well-balanced IPA, especially on the West Coast style, because West Coast is my jam. I love these. And that being said, 5 out of 5. This was difficult because I didn't know if I should give this one a perfect grade, but however, I had to, due to the fact that because it's an Imperial IPA. Now, a lot of times, there are people that ask, what does it mean by Imperial? A lot of times when it comes to Imperial, they just add more of hops and flavor profile into the brew. And I have questioned whether or not that makes the ABV go up or stay more at a minimum. And when I look at the fact that it is a 9% ABV, sometimes putting in the malts, the hops, and whatnot, especially if you add more, brewing-wise, it can increase the ABV sometimes. I actually had to double-check and ask people like my brother and Hefe from Beer You Beer Me on this one, and yes, there are times where it does. It doesn't always, but in this situation, yeah, definitely ups the ante on the ABV, and that still makes it a very, very great beer. We hope you enjoyed our review on the Destihl Deadhead variety pack of IPAs. If you've had these before and you agree with some of the things I mentioned during this review, leave a thumbs up. And if you didn't, you can leave a thumbs down because I totally get it. Not every beer is for everyone. And there is a comment section, so if there's certain things what you didn't like about one of these beers, go ahead, drop a comment. I like to know this stuff, especially about the beers that you like. Leave a comment too. There might be some beers out there, not necessarily from Destihl, but from other breweries that I might not have tried yet, and I really want to try them because I like trying different things when it comes to the brewery world. And I've been stuck in the Midwest a lot with these, and I've been trying to look for other ones from outside the Midwest, whether it be the East Coast, West Coast, down south, up in the mountains near Canada, and even around the world. So if there's some that you want me to try out, put them in the comments section below. I want to try them. I do have the Tavour app, so if they're on there, I will definitely look and I will order them because I want to make sure that you all get your voices heard on the beers you want to be reviewed. Apart from that, make sure you share on social media, push that little red button, ring the bell for notifications, and also check out my boy Hefe at Beer You Beer Me for his beer-related content, and also Beard Wizard Man for his beer-related content, as well as his music reviews and his gaming stuff. It's been a while since I've seen him do a beer versus. I look forward to the next one. It did inspire me to get some more beer versus coming out down the line, and I'm looking forward to that as well. Until then, I'm Wildman Wes, and we will see you next time on What's Your Poison, or the other content that we've got out on Dragonfire Entertainment, especially with our Worst State of Movies series going on right now. I hope you've enjoyed that so far, because we still have some doozies down the line. Cheers.
What's your poison? Let's drink it tonight. In the glow of the stars, everything